Hi, good evening. Trump deploys the National Guard to sort out Washington, D.C., the capital. Then he's going to sort out the rest of the country, he says. Meanwhile, Starmer dithers as our crisis deepens. We've got a main city, a capital city like D.C., where the mayor hasn't got a clue. Sadiq Khan. It's a savage city infested with crime, despite the bullshit they've come out with today. I say clean up London like Trump is cleaning up Washington, D.C. Then you can clean up the rest of the country. And of course, you've got to start at Dover with the migrants. I want your views. My name's John Gaunt. This is the John Gaunt podcast. Thanks for joining me. And by God, it's so hot. My beard has fallen off. Thank you for being here. Right then. Good evening. It's 6:30. We're live at the moment. Don't forget you can get it later on or replay. We're going to talk about leadership, or real leadership. As I say, in Washington, D.C., President Donald Trump has deployed the National Guard. So they've come in, they're taking over the running of the city, the police department, etc. He's sending a clear message. Enough is enough. Meanwhile, here in Britain and the United Kingdom, our streets are spiraling out of control, despite what the liberals say. They reckon, I saw a thing today from Sadiq Khan, crime's going down. Absolute cobblers. People just aren't reporting it. You know what we do here? We've got plague. We're plagued by violent crime. We've got phone thieves snitching people's mobiles in broad daylight. And the government's done little more, and indeed Khan, who's useless, than paint warnings on the pavement. Be careful, somebody might nick your phone. How about nicking the low-life scumbags? Because this isn't policing. This is surrender. And what's happened is we've got shops now where they've been told, do not put photos of the shoplifters in your windows because that would be breaking the law. A bloke put up a sign saying, if you need the key for the cabinet in his little curio shop, please ask. I've had to lock it up because of the scumbag shoplifters. The coppers went round to him and gave him a warning saying you can't say things like that. Somebody might find it offensive. Who? The toe rags, the scumbags? Who cares about them? And the other thing that Trump is going to do is clearing the streets of junkies and the long-term homeless. That's what we need to do in London. That's what we need to do in every major city. One way we could do that is making sure there's enough accommodation for our veterans instead of them having to sleep on the street. And then did you see the YouTube video? Some geezer is on the tube. He decides it's a good idea to take his kegs off and his pants and start flashing his bits around. Somebody says, hang on, mate, there's kids on this train, stop it. He tells him to F off, then just keeps repeating the word F off. So this bloke gives him a kick. And then 2 or 3 other fellas join in. You know what's coming next. They manage to control this madman, put him on the floor. When it gets to the next tube station, women are moving all the time because they don't want to be involved in this. They get him outside on the tube platform, hold him down till an off-duty copper comes and arrests him. However, now the Metropolitan Police, the thin blue line, is trying to locate who these men were. And they're asking the question, did they use too much force? No, they didn't use enough effing force, you plonkers. And if you used a bit of force, maybe if we were a bit more RoboCop, instead of rainbow laces, maybe we could get control of our capital. Donald Trump says he's had enough of people painting on the statues. You know, have you been to DC? It's a wonderful city. It's very European. Massive wide boulevards and streets. But of course, they've got all the statues, Martin Luther King, they've got Jefferson and all the rest of them, yeah? People have started to graffiti them. Starmer? Trump says no more. So he's brought in the National Guard, the army, in effect, to clean up the Capitol and take back control. And his theory is, if Washington, D.C. gets cleaned up, then other cities like Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia will follow suit. I wouldn't bet against him pulling it off. Everybody said he would not do it with the migrants. Have you seen? There's hardly any illegals getting into the States. Why? Tough, affirmative action and no going back on it. That's what we need, not just in London, in the whole of Britain. Do you agree with me? That's the way to sort it out, because what he's done from the southern borders, where the illegals were getting in, Mexico and that, to the streets of DC, Trump has proved where there's a will, there's a way. Meanwhile, here in the UK, the political establishment sit on their hands. Oh, no, it's too difficult. What about their human rights? What would the EU say? Who cares? Let's get some Trumpian attitude. Let's back decisive action. We haven't got a National Guard. But I tell you what we have got. We've got an army and a navy. And as I've been saying for weeks, let's stop the illegal crossings, because they're still surging as the channel remains basically unguarded. Navy in the channel, army on the beach. Anybody who turns up, they go to a tent, and those tents are behind barbed wire. Close the hotels immediately, video it, and it will suddenly stop the demand. I was reading about Greece. You know, Greece had this problem that they were coming, and they said, that's it. Anybody else who comes now, straight away, you will be deported or you will be slung into prison. Guess what? No more migrants are coming. It's simple what the answer is. And then people keep saying, oh, yeah, but they're fleeing war. I had some liberal idiot today saying it's because we've bombed them. No, it isn't. Most of the countries they're coming from, these aren't refugees. And we've got a proud tradition of looking after refugees. And then somebody else said, oh, yeah, but most rapists are white. Yes, because the majority of the country is white. I'm not giving them a free pass. I would string them up by the ghoulies from the lamppost too. But you don't let a load more people in who potentially could be that. Because let me just tell you something very clear. If you think I'm a racist, I'm not saying that everybody who comes in a dinghy, the dinghy boys, I see other people are using that expression now, the dinghy boys, I'm not saying every single one of them is a rapist, a sex attacker, a criminal. I'm not even saying that all economic migrants, I'm not even saying they're refugees. What I am saying is you don't know what they are and I don't, because they're undocumented, because the passport goes over the side into the channel. Let's stop being a soft touch. Let's get tough on the illegals. What about crime? What about the fact, have you seen the videos? People just go into places and just empty the shelves. Whether it's Tesco's, whether it's Greg's, they just take all the food. Sainsbury's. What did I buy the other day? Oh, you know those soap powder tablets? In our little Tesco's now, they're behind a security thing. So when you buy them, you know, like when you buy a bottle of whiskey, you got to hand it over and they take the security tag off. They're putting it on soap powder. That's how bad things have got. We need the police to focus on the streets, not focus on tweets, which is what they're doing. Did you see the copper in Nuneaton? Well, it's in Coventry. He knocks on the door of this guy's house. The guy answers on his doorbell thing. And the copper says, oh, I've come just to give you a little bit of advice. I've got a leaflet here. And he's embarrassed. This policeman, a big, fat, old bloke, is embarrassed, right? Because he's having to tell him what to do. And the guy says, well, I haven't done anything wrong. Thanks for your advice. I don't need it. And he said, I'll tell you what, take that leaflet back and write on it. And then he said something rude. And the copper laughed and walked away. The copper is now being investigated for daring to criticize this moronic attitude. Then on Saturday, 500 old age pensioners got arrested for supporting Palestine Action or whatever it's called this week. That could have all been nipped in the bud I was going to say months ago, but years ago. Why have we allowed it to get to this situation where they're making some kind of semi-protest? I don't get it. Why have we allowed people to desecrate our monuments? Why have we allowed, remember that son of Pink Floyd? He swung on one of the memorials years ago. I think it was the cenotaph, wasn't it? Everyone sort of saw it as a bit of a joke. It's not a joke. It's a crime. Let's lock these people down. I mean, and London, I can't bear how much the BBC today were almost orgasmic. Oh, crime is down in the capital. No, it's not. It's obviously not. London is plagued with violent crime. What about the bloke who got his watch stolen off him? And we've got painted signs on the pavements warning of phone snatchers instead of coppers catching them. Like Washington, our capital, London, needs cleaning up. And then we must move through the rest of the United Kingdom. Donald Trump got everybody in front of him today and said, this is what I'm going to do. Where's Starmer? He's on his sunbed. He's gone somewhere hot with his family whilst he's left Britain burning. Look at the protests outside the migrant hotels. Where have you gone? Where's Wally? Why is he not showing leadership? Meanwhile, I'm coming to your comments in a moment, 650,000 people and growing have signed that petition, demanding an election. It won't work, but it's just another great example of just how peed off everybody is. Mums are protesting. Now we've got vigilante groups being formed in places like Bournemouth, and you can't really blame the people. The UK needs action now. Let's get the troops on the beaches at Dover, the Navy in the Channel, and let's get proper coppers on our streets doing some proper coppering. And when 4 brave boys take on a lunatic, and that's obviously what he was, on a tube, let's not investigate them. Let's give them a bloody medal. Do you want some nutcase wanging his willy around when your wife's on the train or your kids? No, you don't. He's in the wrong. Good slap would do him good, probably. Yes, I'm all for summary justice at points. But what I'm really for, and what this is all about, and I want you to join in on the John Gaunt show tonight, it's time to demand leadership. It's time to demand security. It's time to have control. It's time to reclaim our streets. That's what Trump's doing. That's what Starmer is failing to do. We haven't got a National Guard, but it's UK politics and we can control it. If not, move to the side, Starmer. Let's have a general election. And that's before we really go on about the cock-up you've made on the border. Are you with me or are you against me? This is the John Gaunt Show. Thank you for joining me tonight. We're going to come straight to your comments in just a couple of seconds. Have you noticed? Oh, look at that. I've made a right hatchet job. Anybody asked me who did my beard today? It was Dewhurst. That's one for the oldies. Right, let's get talking. Let's go to the comments. If you wish to comment, you just write a comment on the bottom of the video. Whilst you're down there, you might want to also donate a few quid. That would be great if you could. If not, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt and donate something there. Quite a few people have done that this afternoon, but the more the merrier. Here's my first person today. It's Craig Urquhart. I've just seen Greece have reduced it dramatically. Built a fence. It's simple. You're right, Craig. They built a fence, but they also had the attitude that you aren't coming. They told them, you come, you're going to get deported straight away or you're going to prison. What do we say? Oh, make sure you bring your Hilton reward card because you're going into a 4-star hotel with squeezy soap. Kick them out of the hotels now. Put them in army camps now. Send videos back so they can all see what we're doing. Show how we're towing the boats back. Did you see that story at the weekend? There's loads of these boats. There's also rumours, not completely substantiated yet, that people are taking the boats back to France for the next bunch to come on. We are out of control. And Starmer, as I say in my thing, wimp versus leader, he's gone on holiday somewhere hot with my family. Which family? Some people might ask, but they're being rude. Sorry, John, but this government is just too soft, says Stuart Lowe on Facebook. Why are you apologising to me? I know they're too soft. I've eaten Thornton's fudge, which is stronger or harder than them. I don't think... Oh, shut up, John. Starmer can be hard if he tries. Steve Harris, love what you do, John. We don't always agree, but you're a good man that speaks a huge amount of common sense, says Steve on Facebook. That's very kind of you, Steve. If you like it that much, chuck a fiver in the pot, will you? Where we go? You don't ask, you don't get it, do you? You God loves a trier. Jackie Wood. Is it Jackie Wood? Jackie Ward. The answer is simple. She's on YouTube, but obviously not simple enough for our simple Prime Minister, who must be so simple, it's amazing he ever got to be a school prefect, let alone the Prime Minister. Yeah, I agree, Jackie. It's unbelievable. It's not rocket science how we get back control, is it? It's not. And Donald Trump did a press conference. I was like, every word I agreed with him on. And if he hadn't solved the migrant problem, I would have some doubts. But he has. The southern border, no one's getting in. And I wouldn't bet against him sorting out Putin this week. Would you? We need tough leaders. You don't have to like them. You need them to be hard. You know what I mean? Starmer. Stuart Lowe says, you missed out potential terrorists. You're right, I did. We don't know if there's terrorists. Well, we do know some Iranians got in via the boats. They were going to attack the Israeli embassy. So it has happened. So none of this is scaremongering. Don't let them silence you by telling you you're being racist, because you're not. You're not. And I'll tell you something as well. I thought it was amazing this weekend. All those protests, and there wasn't any violence, not from the people who were worried about their kids, was from the Antifa mob, and even a few of those grannies at the Stop Oil or whatever it was, this real Palestine protest. They got a bit tasty, didn't they, at one point? But not the mums protesting and just looking after their kids. Don't think the dinghy boys will be stealing the soap powder, says Craig. Well, no, Craig. They don't need to. They're getting £1 a week working for Deliveroo on top of their 3 square meals they get in a day in the hotel and the squeezy soap. Alien intelligence agencies just sent a load of flags, English flags. Well, that's great. Doesn't work so well on the radio, but thank you very much. Nick Seeley, YouTube, RPM would bend over backwards for gratitude. Thank you very much indeed. Jackie Ward, John, I'm liking the clean-shaven look. It's not actually clean-shaven. I've only had the trimmer, the beard trimmer thing. So actually, if you look closely, and it's high definition, this camera, I need a proper shave, which I'll probably do tomorrow. But it was just getting so itchy, particularly in this heat. Craig Mawson says, hi, John. Hi, but I need you to make a comment, Craig. Just saying hi isn't good enough, but thank you. Keir Starmer is incapable of making a decision, says Graham Hatton on YouTube. Got to say, big thank you to Graham. Graham's just donated some more money. It's not just the first time. He's just bought me some more beers on www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. Thank you, Graham. If anybody wants to know how to do it, just send Graham a message and he'll tell you. But Graham, it's really appreciated. Really, really appreciated. It's cut-off day tomorrow. It's Tuesday tomorrow. So the end of tomorrow is cut-off day. So if you are going to donate, can you please do it today or tomorrow? Alternatively, you can do it on YouTube just by pressing that $sign. Where are we up to? A viewpoint from over here in Hungary, well, you've got a tough leader, says Peter Adam, is that the UK capital is very unsafe to visit as a tourist. Yeah, I think there's several countries, including Australia, saying don't go to London. What's it come to? Don't go to London. the greatest city in the world. Foreign governments are telling their people not to go because of the crime. Sadiq Khan, hang your weaselly little head in shame. How the hell? Well, I know exactly how you got knighted, but you don't deserve it. You and Starmer, two peas from the same pod. Neither of you have got a backbone. Anyway, so he says they're saying it's very unsafe to visit as a tourist. None of this rubbish over here in Hungary. You mess about and cause a problem, people will sort you out. Well, you're right, Peter. And that's what I really liked. I'm not saying we should have vigilantism, and I'm not saying summary justice is always justified. But those guys on the tube, that bloke, he was told, put your away. He refused. He told them to F off, right? So then he got a kick in the crown jewels. Then he got a few more kicks. Then he got chucked off the train. What's wrong with that? Now, the police want to find the men who did it. Why? Because it won't be to give them a medal, will it? They'll be up on a charge. What we meant to do, just allow yobbos to ruin our capital city. I say no. I say the fight back starts now. I'm with the women who have been protesting because they're saying it's our kids. What is wrong with that? And they should not be demonized. Although I'm noticing a little change in the MSM and indeed in the political establishment because they know they can't alienate these people. I was going to call this one, I mean, we called it in the end wimp versus leader, because once Trump started talking today, I wanted to go more down that line. But before that, I was going to talk about the fact that I believe Keir Starmer and most of his cabinet genuinely hate the white working class, the majority class of this country. I think they despise them, or us, I should say, because I'm working class. I think they despise us. They hate our flag. They hate the fact we like football, the food we eat, the places we go on holiday. They look down their snooty little noses at us. But when it comes to defending Ukraine and Zelensky, this wimp, not Donald, obviously, this wimp, he'll be wanting to send your kids to die. He makes me sick. What do you think? We're meant to live in a democracy, but we're so powerless, says Denise Deacon on YouTube, to stop the madness. No, I don't think we are, Denise. I think the women of Nuneaton, the women of Epping, the women all across the country, Liverpool as well, they've said, no, we're not taking this. The police obviously don't want to start arresting them. What's Starmer going to do? He's run away to go on holiday. He does. Somebody said he deserves a holiday. Everyone should have a holiday. What? No. He hasn't done anything to merit a holiday. He had a holiday. He cancelled his holiday last year, but the country wasn't in anarchy, which is what it is now. Why hasn't he cancelled again? And have we been told who's in charge? I presume it's Angela Rayner. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so Denise says we're powerless to stop it. No, we're not, because we're many and they're the few. Always remember this. We can march and protest, but what's the point? Because our PM just doesn't care about our opinions, because we're going to force him to. That's why, Denise. Denise, you're a lovely woman, but tonight you're going to get a slap on the backside with a wet mackerel by me because you're being a little bit defeatist. What an image that is. I do apologize. Johnny Roberts on YouTube, a lot of YouTubers tonight, says, hi, John, I think this rumor about the Chagas Islands costing us 3 times more than we were told could end Starmer as PM. What do you mean 3 times? It's 10 times. He lied. He lied again. When he said to the British public it was X, he didn't do the multiplication. That was the price per year. Meanwhile, so Mauritius are getting all this cash. Let me just tell you what's happening with the Chagos cash. We own the Chagos, right? There are people living in our country who want to go back and live there, right? I understand we need the airfield. I understand all of that. And that Trump hasn't been that supportive about this. However, why are we giving them the money? Mauritius. It's never been Mauritius's land. And they're connected to China. Now, You're just about to get hit with massive tax rises this autumn. Not just me saying it. Most of the top financial experts are saying it as well. Because Reeves, the thief, she has cocked up the budget completely. So now the deficit is about 3 times whatever they said it was in the first place. Now, she's going to put taxes up, income tax. She's got no choice. Mark my words. Do you know what they're doing in Mauritius at the moment? They're reducing taxes. I wonder where they got their windfall from. It wouldn't be from Starmer, would it? Our cash or Lammy? Yes, that's where their money's coming from. So good luck to people in Mauritius. They ain't going to pay any tax, but we're going to pay more. Ever got the feeling, as Johnny Rotten once said, that you've been cheated? So I don't think it will, Johnny, end Starmer's reign, unfortunately. Right, I'm going to... Oh, excuse me. That's hay fever, by the way. Keir Starmer is incapable of taking decisive action. He is terrified of the wrath of his backbenchers. Yeah, the socialists, you're right. And the idiots on the loony left. Time he went on a permanent vacation, says Graham Hatton. Well, I'm afraid he'll be coming back. He's probably worried. He's probably lying on his sunbed in his Tuscan villa, drinking an ice cold Chianti. Oh, isn't that a great film? Isn't that a great film? What's oh, John, are you getting Alzheimer's? Your memory's going. What's Hannibal Lecter? You know the one I mean, where he drinks the Chianti. Oh, a nice Chianti. He's brilliant in that movie, isn't he? John, I wonder how many avocados Keir Starmer has smashed while it's been on holiday. He's probably been bashing something. Anyway, stop it. Peter Adams says 0 illegals here in Hungary, John. If you cross the border illegally, you are a criminal. When, not if you're caught, 28 days in jail, then deported. Well, that's how it should be here, Peter. I said this the other day, simply because you don't know anything. People who claim asylum, they're not illegal. The moment they claim asylum, that's fine. They're not illegal. So then you go, did they break into our country without a passport? Did they not come through passport country? Yeah, but that's irrelevant. International law. You take your international law and stick it where the sun don't shine. We've left the EU. We should leave the ECHR. We should have human rights, of course, and we should treat these people fairly, but they're taking the mickey, and we've got to stop it now. Then it's crime. It's like the capital city. Have you been to London recently? I used to go to London this time of year when I was working there for like 20 odd years. It was the greatest city in the world. Especially I used to walk down to where I was working at Talk or the BBC. And when you walk over one of those bridges, the sun's shining in the early morning, 7:30, 8, something like that. All the women look beautiful. That's the first thing to say. Oh dear, John's up on a sexist rap. I have often wondered where the ugly ones go in the summer, but it's beautiful, right? The sun's shining, the river looks great, everything's great. You see those magnificent buildings. It was a wonderful place to work. But now it's a shithole. We've got to say what it is, haven't we? We have. And we got signs on the pavement saying, careful with your phone. Somebody might nick it. Is that where we've come to? Maggie Young. Starmer knows it's easy to stop the boats. He does not want to stop them. Maggie, that's the conclusion I came to. I think I made a podcast about it last week where I sort of said that. I've got a question about you, Maggie. Are you from Coventry? That's the only question I'm asking. You can answer later directly or on here. But thank you for your comments. You're very good. Ginger Maisie. So things can be done if there's a political will. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Donald Trump is leading from the front. He's basically said, I ain't having this. He learned, obviously, from his last term in office where he got stopped from doing things and he made some crazy decisions, right? But he's got himself in a position now where he's thought about these things. And when it comes to, they all took the mickey out of, I'm going to build this wall, didn't they? Do you remember? Did you see? They sold off loads of the bits of his wall that weren't built. And now the guy who bought it has brought it all back for Donald so he can complete the thing. It's like a Lego thing, right? But now he said, right, it's worked. We've cut migration down to about 5% illegal, right? He's cut it completely just by being dead rock hard, right? So now he says, right, Washington, D.C., which if you haven't been, it's just the most, I think it's one of the best cities in the United States. But it is scary. And right near the White House, literally, you could walk down the road from the White House and you could be in a really bad area. And I mean bad, where you literally would be taking your life down. When I went there, I went with, I saw a lot of Raheem. Do you know the guy who used to work with Nigel Farage? I'm going to try and get him on the show, actually, to talk about America and talk about it, because he lives there permanently. It was a little bit hairy, is all I'd say. There are other parts which are great, just like London. But there was so much graffiti and there was so much filth. And Donald's just said, I ain't having this anymore. He said a very interesting thing today. He said, people look at your capital city, and I'm paraphrasing now, if your capital city is a shithole, they think the country is. I think he said that's what his dad said. And I was listening. I know it's a homily and all that, but I thought, actually, your old man was right, Donald. It is, isn't it? It's about presentation. No? Maybe you disagree. Give me a call. Give me a call. Oh, those were the years. It was a lot easier when you could say that. This country is effed. I can't say the word. We can all talk. All we want is Starmer traitor. We want Starmer out, I presume, is what you're saying. Craig, John, what is happening with Diane Abbott as she joined Jeremy? I don't know, because I've been watching the Trump thing all day. You tell me, Craig. Have a look on the thing. Trump clearly has balls. Please, I can't read the rest of that out, Ian, because you don't know if that's true, and I'm not going to lose my pitiful existence on something you've said. So please don't say that. I know where you're coming from. No help available from King Charles Mohammed Windsor, says Wendy and Junior. Yeah, but Wendy, people keep coming up with, the king should interfere. He's not going to. Let's try and keep practical. Starmer was elected. Starmer can be de-elected if in a sense. The pressure's mounting. I don't think he'll last 4 years, but who else would you want in Labour? But then who would you want in the Tories? And there was a shambolic press conference by Reform today about policing and about the same subject we're talking about. There was no structure to it. So I'm despairing. I am despairing. Rachel from Accounts is going to be replaced by Diane from Play School, says Peter Adams. Right for you, Peter, laughing over in Hungary. We've got to live it, mate. We're doing the lived experience. Johnny, the cost of the deal, 35 billion, says Craig. He's talking about the deal with Mauritius and Chagos Isles. Yeah, they used a clever accounting thing. I was watching a program about it today. Do you know what's interesting about it? The mainstream media aren't really going mad. GB News have, and congratulations to them. Nigel Gordon, you need to keep protests up. Show them we're not happy. The country needs us. That's a very good point. Wrexham police now say the shopkeeper can have a sign saying shoplifters are scum. So that's a small victory, says Mick in front of us. Did you see the fella? He was a right old hippie, wasn't he? A lovely chap. He reminded me of one of my best mates, Perry, who I went to junior and infant school, with the long grey beard and the grey hair. And he was kind of bemused. He wasn't angry. He sort of said, well, why can't I put up a little sign in me glass cabinet? Because these people are nicking everything. And then you've all seen the YouTube videos. I mean, in the old days, they'd go in and nick all the spirits. When I was working in that posh supermarket, that's what they did. And we were told not to interfere. It's not worth losing your life over a trolley full of alcohol. I'll come back to you on that. I need to think about it. But anyway, you understand where I'm coming from. It's crazy. So Wrexham have gone back on it. I didn't know that, Mick. Thank you for telling me. Starmer is compromised. Most of them are. Well, yes, Venus K, I'd probably agree with you, but about what? Wendy and Junior says they're invaders, the people coming in, right? Maggie Young says yes. So I now know the answer to my question. Thank you for that, Maggie. You can put a bit more flesh on it if you want. Yes, it's all done deliberately. They even send the boats back to France for the next load, says Hugo Agogo. I like your name. That was the allegation today. I can't remember which TV channel it was on. I saw that, and then it was all over YouTube as well. You're right. Don't forget, if you want to watch any of my videos again, or if you're listening on a podcast now, when you get in, if you subscribe, now the word subscribe makes it sound like you got to pay. You haven't. It's free. My YouTube channel is called John Gaunt TV. Go there, click on it, and it will give you the option to subscribe. Completely free. Now, if you do subscribe, it means you get all the notices of when I'm doing another video. Plus, you can look at all the stuff I've done since I started about 7 or 8 months ago. And I must admit, a lot of people did sign up this weekend. So thank you very much indeed for that. If on top of that, you then want to donate some cash, you can go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, and you can put in anything from a £5 upwards or in units of 5. Alternatively, press the little padlock on the bottom of this video, and then you can donate whatever you fancy. And thank you to everybody who has. It stops me selling the big issue. Hang on, let's do this one first. John Godley. John, can we take the Chagos Islands back? No, he signed them away, and he lied to us. He's just a constant liar. He's just a constant liar. Union flags going up all over South Birmingham. The lads putting them up are getting funded by the locals. Yeah, I've seen that. It's unbelievable, isn't it? I think one guy started it and loads of other people have joined in. Maybe we should all be doing that. Maybe we should all be putting the cross of St. George or the Scottish flag, whatever one you want, all over our houses. What do you reckon? That'd upset some of those uber liberals, wouldn't it? Oh, and shock, surprise. Did you know that Nicola Sturgeon wasn't 100% straight? I didn't have a clue. Next one. Where are we? Please don't knock reform. Whatever hope there is, apart from them, to get rid of Labour. J-Day, yes, I know where you're coming from, but I'm a commentator. I'm not a journalist. That's a dirty word, but I'm a commentator. I have to say what I feel. People like my show because I just say what I think, and you say what you think. As long as we don't break the law, that's fine. But when I hear reform do something wrong, I'm going to say it. Otherwise, they'll just become as bad as the others. So I think you're wrong, Jay, to call for any form of kid gloves for them, in my opinion. But thank you for your comment. Moonhawk says, I fear it's all beyond repair. No, you're going in the naughty corner with Denise Deacon. Stop being so bloody negative. We can pull this back. Donald Trump is pulling back America. It's not just him. It's all the people around him. It's the population. Because you see what's happened in our government, just like in the States. They've tried to make populism a dirty word, as if doing the things that people want is somehow appealing to the lowest common denominator. It's not. I want my wives and my daughter. I think you probably saw the pictures on Facebook or Twitter last night. We had a lovely birthday party for my daughter. She's like the queen. It's gone on for about 3 days, her birthday. We had a nice afternoon do yesterday. My very good friend Lynn at a local cafe. I said to her, can you make me one of your special cakes? So she made me, I paid for it. But did you see the cake? The cake was outstanding. Right? Absolutely. That's nice. Strawberries and fresh cream. But the whole family were there. And my daughter's boyfriend and his family as well. And it was just a lovely afternoon in Leamington Spa. No hassle. They all went off later, the kids, to enjoy themselves. Kids, she's 30. And she went off later. They all went off, but we came home. The point of me bringing it up is to say, I just want my daughter to be able to go out of an evening and be as drunk as a skunk and be safe. Like my wife. I want her. She's going down to London, I think, Thursday or the next week to see a play. You should be able to just get a train, shouldn't you? I don't want some guy getting his dick out on the train. Do you? No. I want him to get a kick in if that happens. And then I also want bad uns nicked. I don't want them getting away with it. And then I want our borders secure so that people can't just get in and take advantage. There is nothing wrong with wanting any of those things. And I want Britain to be great again. Just like loads of Americans want America great again. And Trump is trying to deliver. I'm not saying he's got everything right, but you can't argue with him on migration or on the borders. And you can't really argue with what he's saying now. Let's clean up the capital and go from there. Right, I'm going to finish in a minute. So if you want to get on, do it now. John, did you see the clip of on GB News, the lady get hit by the Antifa mob? Yeah, the reporter, Sarah or whatever her name is. Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. Luckily, she wasn't too badly hurt, but it shouldn't be happening. Reform policy on men in dresses allowed in women's spaces in jail is a betrayal. Advanced UK for me. Well, that's fair enough, Wendy and Junior, but not too much political in, please. Evening, John. The whole scenario is so easily solved. What do you think the agenda from our government is not to want to fix it? Ryan Boyce, you're giving out the pencils at our next lesson or our next meeting because you've hit the nail on the head. I don't know. You'd be a hero, Starmer, if you sorted it. Why don't you want to? That keeps me awake at night because I don't want to be a tin foil hat merchant, a conspiracy merchant. Blimey, they're pushing me towards it. Why doesn't he sort it out? He's not thick. Why doesn't he do it? And then he would get another term, wouldn't he? Because there's nobody else to take it, well, apart from Nigel Farage. I don't know. We're going to hell in a handcart. Anyway, that's me done. I'm off now to have my tea. I'll be back tomorrow at 6:30. Oh, I've got some good guests lined up. I'm going to speak to the guy. Do you remember the guy who had the song last Christmas or the one before? Not that one. That's one. About Starmer. But the Mud song, wasn't it? It'll be cold this Christmas for pensioners. He's coming on because he's also been saying he would work for the BBC as a newsreader. And he's been saying some really interesting things. Actually, they echo my experience of working for the BBC about how they deal with left-wing protests compared to right-wing protests. So I think he'll be a fascinating guest. Got him on. I got Alt Mehmet, who's in charge of Migration Watch. He's coming on this week. One day. Well, I'm going to record him this week, so that's going to be a cracker. I've got somebody else as well. Yes, I can't remember. Anyway, so the set piece interviews, I'll be doing them and putting them out as well. What's this say? We have a woke human rights lawyer as a PM. I say no more, says Wayne Driver. I agree with you. Dave Cumas Hodges just says Kelly Grove. I don't know what that means. Pip Tomlinson, Starmer's a lefty lawyer, so it goes against everything he believes in to reduce immigration. Well, that's the only explanation I can come up with. So thank you for that. Jackie Ward, as usual, she sent me 3 love hearts, red hearts. Thank you, Jackie. And there's Maggie with a load of claps. That's really nice. Thank you, Maggie. And a blue heart. And Wendy and Junior says, great show. Thanks. Well, thank you for watching and listening. The audience is building all the time. Thank you all for that. And don't forget, if you want to help with a bit of a financial thing, press the little dollar sign and give me anything you fancy, apart from your kids. And if you want to do it by buying a coffee or beer, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. That's me done. I shall be back tomorrow at 6:30. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug, and don't forget to tell them you love them. Please, can we have President Trump over here?